Hello, YouTube divers. This is WaterDive 122, and I want to welcome you all to another episode of Magic Metal Mondays. Today, we're going to be counting down my top 10 favorite songs from Los Angeles' very own Great White. Wow, so it's been a long time since I've talked about Great White. So, Great White, as some of you probably already are aware of, they are a hard rock, heavy metal, blues rock band from Los Angeles, California. They were part of the 1980s hard rock and glam metal scene, and they are definitely one of the most underrated bands from that era. As even after that era ended in the 90s, they still continued to play what they got famous for, something that many bands from that era did not do. And as a result, obviously with grunge and with other metal, hard rock and heavy metal genres dominating the charts at the time, Great White's music kind of fell under the radar. That said, though, we're going to give them the love that they deserve here today. So we're going to be counting down my top 10 favorite songs from this absolutely legendary band. And this will be another video that goes out to their iconic vocalist, Jack Russell, who, if you remember from my Great White ranking, he passed away last summer due to a very, very bad case of dementia at age 63. I don't exactly remember what this type of dementia was called, but I do remember reading that it was some form of dementia that killed him. So, once again, rest in peace to Mr. Jack Russell. One of the best, if not the best, vocalists to come out of this era, and definitely one of the most unique vocalists I have ever heard in my life. So, yeah, once again, rest in peace to Jack. This video goes out to you as well as to everyone who associates with the Great White, whether it's the band members, former band members, crew, or, of course, their fans, such as myself. I love this band. Great White absolutely rules. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this party started. So, across Great White's 13-album discography, they have a lot of great songs. A lot of underrated songs, and songs that could easily make someone's top 10, but, yeah. Let's go ahead and get this party started. So, coming in at number 10, we got Street Killer from their self-titled debut album from 1984. This is, in my opinion, the best song from the debut album, and the debut album in general is just a great starting place for any new fans for Great White. It's very raw, rambunctious, rebellious, and just very fun, and that's exactly the type of vibes I get with Street Killers. Lots of cool riffs here. Jack Russell puts on an amazing, menacing performance on here, vocally speaking. And the whole production side of the song just easily captures that raw and rambunctiousness that early Great White was known for. And really, when you think about it, many 1980s glam metal bands put out records like this. Like, I'm talking like Too Fast for Love by Motley Crue, On Through the Night by Def Leppard, Breaking the Chains by Dokken, etc. It's very much in this vibe, but Great White goes hard and heavy, and Street Killer is, in my opinion, the best example of this. So yeah, Street Killer, love this song, has to be in my top 10. Now, number 9, this one was kind of changing these last couple of days, because originally I had Love Is a Lie, their 8-minute power ballad from their Psycho City album. And while it is definitely a top 10 worthy material song, it changed at the very last minute. So shout out to Love Is a Lie. It's a fantastic song, but for me, number 9 has to go to Can't Shake It, my favorite song from their fifth studio album, Hooked, from 1991. Yeah, so in general, Hooked is one of my favorite albums from Great White. Even though this came out in the early 90s when grunge was starting to take over the rock and roll and the heavy metal scene, it was records like Hooked that really just kept the genre alive, the genre of glam metal, or blues metal for that, alive until, Nevermind happened. and Can't Shake It, in my opinion, is a very fun, very bluesy song. It's just the one song that, in my opinion, sums up the entire Hooked album. It's very bluesy. It's very fun. It's very old school, but at the same time, it's also kind of atmospheric. Like, I get a lot of oceany vibes when I listen to Hooked, and Can't Shake It is definitely one of those best examples, if you ask me, of Great White mastering this kind of atmosphere. Um, and it's really the reason why it gets a spot here in the top 10. That, and also just for how fun it is. Yeah, Can't Shake It, very good song from, in my opinion, one of their strongest albums. So, yeah, Can't Shake It comes in here at number 9. Now, coming in here at number 8, we got one of their most popular songs. We got Rock Me, 7.5 minute blues rock track from my favorite album from the band, Once Bitten, released in 1987. So, Once Bitten is filled to the brim with classic jams from this legendary band, and Rock Me is definitely one of those examples. It's songs like Rock Me which broke out the band, because Once Bitten is generally viewed as the band's breakthrough album. And Rock Me, from those super atmospheric, quieter parts to that absolutely bombastic and catchy chorus. It's just Great White being Great White. What more do you want me to say? And of course, shout out to Jack Russell for, in my opinion, one of my favorite vocal performances from him. Really, Once Bitten just has so many killer vocal performances from Jack, as we'll discuss later on in the video. Um, but yeah, Rock Me, absolutely amazing song, and it's a classic song for a reason. So yeah, Rock Me comes in here number 8. Speaking of classic songs, number 7, we're going to be talking about their biggest hit, which is Once Bitten, Twice Shy, from the following album, Twice Shy. So Once Bitten, Twice Shy is interesting. This was like the one song from Great White that absolutely dominated the radio. And even now, you could still hear this song played on many rock radio stations to this day. And it's really no wonder why this song got so popular. It's just as rock and roll can get. And the craziest thing about this, and I didn't even know this until I saw a YouTube friend of mine discuss this song. This is actually a cover, and this is something that Great White are no strangers of doing. They usually have 1 to 2 covers per album, maybe 3. But Once Bitten, Twice Shy is a cover. The original artist was Ian Hunter, who was a big rock icon in the 70s. And, yeah. In my opinion, Great White's version is much better than the original. Especially with Jack's bluesy vocal performance on here. It's just fantastic, and it's so fun. And I guarantee you, if you hear this song at least once, you're going to be singing that chorus in your head for at least the next 24 hours. That's how catchy this song is. And it's really for that reason why I believe it went so big. And, yeah, Once Bitten, Twice Shy, phenomenal track. Definitely one of their more catchier songs. So Once Bitten, Twice Shy comes in here at number 7. Number 6, we are returning back to the Once Bitten album, and we're going to be talking about the closing ballad, Save Your Love. You want to talk about strong vocal performances? Save Your Love probably has Jack Russell's most emotional vocal performance on here. It's very moving, it's very warm, it's just glass smooth. Glass smooth throughout the entire thing. And even when Jack was back to performing songs with Jack Russell's Great White in the 2010s, and he performed this song, it just ages like fine wine. I absolutely love Save Your Love. It is, without question, one of their best songs. And it is. This is another fan favorite. It's another classic from the band. Just, what more do you want me to say? Save Your Love is absolutely stunning. Give it a listen. And now, coming in at number 5, this one is probably going to get a lot of disagreements, but it's my list, so here we go. Number 5 is It Enough from the Rising album from 2009. This is, in my opinion, Great White's most underrated track. It is just so warm, so beautiful, and in my opinion, just so catchy, and that beautifully smooth and warm vocal performance from Jack Russell. It's just crazy. And in my opinion, this really feels like a swan song for Jack Russell in terms of his career with Great White. I know he would also have Jack Russell's Great White once he left the band, which he left the band due to a back injury that kept him out of band-related activities for many, many years. And also due to declining health at the time, anywho. But yeah, Is It Enough? It just really feels like this is Jack's swan song for Great White. Mainly because Rising is the last album from Great White that features him on vocals before Terry Lewis joined the band. But yeah, Is It Enough? Beautiful song. I absolutely love it. Definitely my favorite track from the Rising album. Alright, now, coming in at number 4, we're going to be talking about my favorite song from the Twice Shy album from 1989, and that is Highway Nights. Twice Shy is another one of those albums that has just hit after hit after hit. I could have gone with any song on here. I already talked about One Spittin', Twice Shy, but I could have also picked the Angel song, House of Broken Love, Heart the Hunter, Baby on Fire, Missed a Bone, etc. But Highway Nights is, in my opinion, the best track from this album. I love that use of double bass in here. I love Jack Russell's vocal performance, especially in that chorus. It is just so lush and so amazing to listen to. And then, of course, Mark Kendall's guitar work on here is just... it's just as bluesy as blues can get. Absolutely love Highway Nights. It's just a great song to listen to if you're driving down the interstate in a car during summertime. Just a great song from this band. Highway Nights, fantastic. Alright, so number 3 and number 2 are from the same album here. They're both from Great White's sophomore album from 1986 with Shot in the Dark. And I kept going back and forth on as to which of these two songs I liked better. But here we go. So number 3 is She Shakes Me. And number 2 is the Shot in the Dark title track. If you remember from my Great White ranking, I basically had these two songs flip-flopped. She Shakes Me was my favorite song from Shot in the Dark, and then the title track was second. But now it's flip-flopped, and I'll explain why. So She Shakes Me is still a phenomenal track. It's probably Great White's most catchiest song, if I do have to say so myself. It's just very fun, very entertaining, and that chorus especially, it's a mega earworm. Yeah. She Shakes Me is a fantastic song, but the title track, Shot in the Dark, just masterfully captures that awesome 1980s glam metal atmosphere, especially with those keyboards before the guitars come in. It's very atmospheric, and it definitely gives me a lot of Living on a Prayer vibes from Bon Jovi, if you remember how that song starts up. Very, very similar. And then, of course, Jack Russell delivers another ridiculously smooth vocal performance on here. Shot in the Dark, just an amazing song. And She Shakes Me, also an amazing song from, in my opinion, one of their best albums. So yeah, She Shakes Me comes in here number 3. And the Shot in the Dark title track comes in here at number 2. So now we get to number 1, and if you remember from my Great White ranking, you already know what it is. It is Lady Red Light, the opening track from Once Bitten. Seriously, Lady Red Light just has Jack Russell's best vocal performance, in my opinion, and glorious keyboard work from Michael Lardy, and one of the best riffs from Mark Kendall. Just seriously, everyone is firing on all cylinders here, and this song absolutely kicks the doors down when it comes to opening up this legendary album. And I really wish this was a song that Great White played more on in their live staples, in their live set lists following this album. Because in my opinion, I think this is one of their most classic songs and one of their most beloved songs. Thankfully, both Jack Russell's Great White and the actual Great White did bring this song back as of recently, and yeah, still sounds as good as ever. Lady Red Light, in my opinion, absolutely 100% their best song. Cannot recommend you this song enough. So yeah, with that said, that concludes this edition of Magic Metal Mondays. Thank you so much for watching, my fellow YouTube divers. This is WaterDive122 signing out, ready to dive into more fun on YouTube. Thanks for watching.